And it's been a pretty awesome afternoon. We've had session 4 underway and completed. We were almost completely completed. We had one truck left in the two-wheel drive class to run, and we would have had the entire session in, but Mother Nature had a little bit of a change. Just a slight little squall came in, just a little bit of rain, and it held off again. We got the track covered, and we are now experiencing some rain and thunder and a little bit of lightning and not so fun stuff happening right here in Toma, as we are in that sort of between stage right now, between session number 4 and number 5. But my name's Miles Krieger. It's an honor to be one of the announcers, of course, of the event here at the Wisconsin Dairyland Nationals, but also get to be a host here at Full Pull and countdown to pull time. So certainly appreciate you folks that are tuning in. We have a session this evening at 7 scheduled, light super stock tractors, super stock diesel tractors, the semis, unlimited 4-wheel drive trucks. We also bring in the light or the limited pro stock tractors again from Region 3. They will complete our evening, as we have 6 classes here that are all in competition. So our hope is, and the plan is right now, that Mother Nature is going to dump a little bit of rain on us here in the next half an hour to 45 minutes, and from that point we might be able to work the track, get the tarps uncovered, do a little bit, and maybe go pulling. So we'll see. We're not expecting a 7 o'clock start time, but we will keep everybody informed. To my left here is Mr. John Hunt. He comes to us from Leonard, Texas. John is fresh off of his very first Grand National win with the NTPA in the two-wheel drive. And congratulations. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Miles. Thanks for having me here.
Well, let's talk. Let's just chat just a little bit. So obviously you guys got roots in this game. You understand the sport of truck and tractor pulling. This is not a new habit by any means at all, but being on the NTPA circuit is new. And so let's talk just a little bit about what it's meant to you so far to just kind of get out of the box and sort of start to get some new facilities, all new travel, all new logistics are coming your way, and you're doing okay.
Yeah, we're having a good time. We're traveling to a bunch of places that we have never been to before. We've never been to any of these NTPA Grand National events. We made one at Canton, Ohio last year with my dad's truck. Did pretty good. Had a great time. Everybody was very welcoming. We're really having a good time pulling with the NTPA and look forward to keep going on this Grand National circuit.
So obviously, let's go back to when I really truly got to meet you and your dad, and that would have been in 2006 and 7 and 2008 when you guys were running for Outlaws Points Championships. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you did phenomenally well with a 2-truck team there at that point. Dad had one, you had one, and then after several years of running up and down the road, you took a little break.
Yep, Dad won the Outlaw Points Championship in 2005, and we ran 2 trucks for 2006, 7, and 8. And I got out of high school and got into the workforce and couldn't go as much, so we took about a 10-year hiatus, took a little break, and I got to working at the family business now and working at the body shop, and we're able to go back pulling again. And I had back surgery in 19, which ended my dirt racing career that I had there for a little bit. So yeah. We decided to go back truck pulling, having a great time with it.
Well, I want to talk to you about that. I think this is something that's really important. Is everybody in this sport is professional in something outside of tractor pulling. We love truck and tractor pulling. It is the absolute best thing you can do. We all in this industry and this sport think it is the best motorsport there possibly is to choose. But let's talk about that. As you look at this game and you start to study it, what do you do outside of this? How do you get up and down the road, and how do you pay these bills? Because obviously this is not a cheap sport to jump into.
So 30 years ago, my dad started a small body shop. It was him and one other guy, and we have grown that shop to be a family business. We now have 7 employees, 4 of which are us, me, my dad, my brother, and my wife. And we're just, we're doing what we can and, living with it and having a good time and, making sure nothing goes shorted.
Do you share a similar love for a 1980s square body Chevy that your daddy and I have?
Oh yeah, we love the square body K30s.
Yes, absolutely, no doubt about that. So my dad, when I was a young man, he had a 1986 Suburban, Scottsdale Suburban, and if I could have that thing back, I'm telling you what, I would do a lot. He bought it from the Corps of Engineers in Louisville, Kentucky for about $500, and I wish I could have that thing back. I'd pay double if they let me have it back. Okay, so you got your win today, and I'll ask the question, have you ever competed in a two-wheel drive class that had 45 in it, like you had on Thursday night, or 39 like you had today?
I have not.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And obviously, you kind of said you made your way back to the trailer and just really kind of had to decompress a little bit as the nerves kind of started to take over a little bit.
Yeah, I was shaking like a leaf in a hurricane, and I was nervous, but I knew that I made a good hook. But there's a lot of very tough competitors behind me.
And R.J. Simon helps keep me in line with a lot of things, I got to admit, but he's also half the reason I can't seem to keep everything in line myself. But you guys have acquired some vehicles, you've moved some vehicles, you've acquired some vehicles, and you've moved some vehicles. And in some instances, the folks you acquired the vehicle from acquired the vehicle back from you. I think I can think of 2 instances whereby that might have happened. A chassis that made its way from Sidney, Illinois to Leonard, Texas, and then back to Sidney, Illinois.
Yep.
And a chassis and body that made its way from Farley, Iowa to Leonard, Texas, and then back to Farley, Iowa. Is that true?
Yep. We bought the Midnight Gambler chassis in 2017, I believe, and we ran it up until 22, and then they purchased it back, and they're currently putting it back together.
Yep. Tanner's going to have a ride, and the old Midnight Chaos truck's coming back with the Higgins frame that Jeremy ran for so many years.
And then we bought the Dirty Pearl truck at the end of 22, end of 21 from RJ, and campaigned it for a year. Did pretty good with it, had a lot of good runs with it, and when it come time to where we were going to upgrade and try to get our 2 trucks closer to the same setup, we put it for sale. RJ bought the chassis back. We kept the motor out of it, and that's actually the motor that was in the Taz truck today.
So I guess the thing I will say to you is obviously in just that 1 year, though, the Dirty Pearl made a pretty big impression on you because you didn't even refer to it as Dirty Pearl. It's just Pearl. I mean,
Pearl.
When you get on these short nicknames, it means something special to you, right?
I got a special spot in my heart for that truck. I always will. It was coming off of the original Taz truck that I had, which I've known that truck since I was a little kid.
We go back to Sonny Martinez days there, which all of us that had a opportunity and a blessing to get to meet him and eat some of his amazingly spicy cooking that he'd put together for us at events.
It even goes back a little bit further than that. The original Taz truck came from a guy named Jerry Duncan out of Oklahoma, and it was called Toot Toot.
I remember that truck.
And then Billy Loftus bought it.
Yep.
And he sold the chassis to Steve Alsop, and that's who actually put it together as Taz.
Okay.
And then Sonny bought it, did good with it, and it went to Justin Gallion.
I remember Justin, of course.
And then we bought it from Justin and did good with it. That chassis was originally built in the mid-'80s.
Yep.
So we were just kind of updating when we bought the Dirty Pearl truck, and we bought it complete and had a real good time with it, and we were just getting our stuff a little closer together. We kept the motor out of it, and RJ bought the truck back.
And then, of course, you've acquired another Chevy Colorado. You have the Taz truck, which is the thin blue line, and that's what confused me last night, as I called it Loud and Low. But you also have Loud and Low, and I think it sits in the shop, and maybe you'll just play close to Texas with it.
Yep, it is actually, if I remember correctly, it is actually leading the points in the TTTPA right now. We've made 4 hooks with it. We've got 2 wins with it and 2 fourth-place finishes. So it is also a good truck. It stays at home. We call it Shameless 2.
And your brother doesn't have a desire to drive a truck?
My brother does desert off-road racing. He is actually in West Texas racing right now.
Okay. So even more busy than you guys are in terms of that game. So let's talk about being in Tomah, Wisconsin, the sort of first impression that he brings to you. All of us kind of take this type of event for granted. And you come to Bowling Green, and you're going to come to some of these others over the course of this season. You're going to roll in and realize what we've all been spoiled with.
Yeah, it has been an experience like no other. I have never experienced anything as far as the people, the officials, the trucks that are here, the caliber of competition. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you're here. We're glad that you guys are choosing, and you are making a conscious choice to come play, because you're passing events on the way to our events. You're driving past plenty of them on your way from Leonard, Texas.
It was right at 1,000 miles up here.
Yeah, that's too much in many instances. That's just too much. But also, it's awesome because you get to come and you get to play with some different people, and you get to prove that what your achievements aren't by any means whatsoever slouch. We've had some folks from our area kind of come over, as Mr. Bennett would say, to your side of the river and play, and that's always fun. But let's talk about goals for 2024, because I think there's a little bit of an advantage for folks that have notes and have data on these tracks. You guys come here blind. You didn't have any notes at Tomah. You didn't have any notes at Farley. I guess it proves you're just really good pullers because it hadn't really seemed to phase you.
We get lucky. I'll say that. The level of competition here is outstanding. Everybody here is extremely tough. We do our best to try to stay within our program and what we know, and make the right decisions. And,
Sure.
and we did that Thursday night and tonight.
Is it difficult with Dad running different power plants and things than you do?
So me and Dad are actually on the same power plant.
Okay, change everything up and you're ready to go.
We both have Sassy
Racing engines.
and then we're both on the full pool chassis.
Okay, that explains things for me, and I learn a lot because I guess So when you bought Dirty Pearl, did you put a Sassy in it?
It had it in it.
Okay.
And when RJ bought it back, we kept the engine out of it.
Yeah, you said that, but I always thought RJ was a big diehard MBR JAK guy. So
he is. They have a lot of the MBR stuff. That was the only Sassy that they had.
That makes sense then. See, you tripped me up and I learned something new today. How's that sound? So, folks that are just tuning in, it's raining outside. We don't really know exactly what the forecast is going to be like for us in terms of tractor pulling this evening here in Tomah, Wisconsin. Our hope is that session number 5 does happen. We have 6 classes on the docket for this evening. Really tough competition scheduled to come our way. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the social media channels. Stay tuned right here for more updates as we sit here with John Hunt and John, as you leave here and you make your way back to Texas, if nothing else goes well for you this season, you got to know that Tomah, Wisconsin's knowing you're here.
It's still hard to believe. I'm still speechless. There's no words for it, for what this means as far as a puller coming up and trying to step up to run this Grand National deal, to come to Tomah on Saturday and win it. There's no words for it.
Yeah, 2 top 10s for Dad, 2 top 10s for you. I think as you make your way back, that's in a group of 45 and 39. That's a pretty impressive start. And obviously, as you make your way to some of these unique venues, Brandenburg, Kentucky has been a favorite for many. Have a fried bologna sandwich for me, man. Let them know I sent you there after the show and enjoy that. And the Meade County folks are fantastic. And from there, you kind of make your way to Iowa, and then I get to kind of acquaint myself with you and introduce you to Bowling Green in full style here in August. So thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. I'm glad Mr. Bennett was the one to interview me for my first win. I'm glad you're the one that got to be here for my first Grand National.
It's an honor, pal. I got to watch you have some emotional moments with your dad, and those are moments that will stay with me. They stay ingrained in my mind and in my heart. So this is a sport of families, and I've been able to watch you and your dad and get to be a part of it. Just because I don't get to be with the Outlaws all the time doesn't mean I'm not following you guys like crazy. So I'm glad you're here playing in my neck of the woods.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Well, thank you much.
Thank you.
And we're going to have our next guest kind of slide in and swap spots with you, and we'll start talking here again with him very shortly.
Thank you.
Good job. And from John Hunt, we go to another next-generation puller who has had an absolutely fantastic weekend here in Tomah, Wisconsin. Grant Theal, I think we're just going to have to kind of get you comfortable in a seat here as part of the full pull staff because you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you very much, Miles.
So let's talk, man. I mean, obviously, this off-season and heading into 2024, you all refined some product of what you guys are doing and continue to kind of push the needle and roll that marble a little harder, and each day it seems like it's just paying off more and more and more.
Yeah, we did some things this off season. We found a little bit more. We spent some time at the dyno, and it's just clicking right now. We're just making A to B laps, and consistency is really paying off for us.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, horsepower is incredible. That's a really, really integral part. I've talked with Josh many times about the importance of horsepower, but you also have to be able to put everything to the track. And Dad's never had a lack of horsepower with Full Blown Wicked, but times getting the balance of the tractor has been something that has caused you guys to be challenged and scratch your heads.
Yep.
It seems like with these minis, you guys are almost just on autopilot. You get in there, you bend that throttle over, you either do one of two things. You've either got it perfect or you just make it look easy.
I don't know. We have it figured out right now. It just seems like we're making good laps. And that was kind of our goal coming into the season, was just be consistent. We thought if we can make good A to B passes, we had a good chance to put ourselves in position to be able to have ourselves in the hunt for the points title,
Sure.
and that was our plan.
Well, then last year, I mean, Mom was very tough in there. You were tough in there, and let's talk as well. I sat with Brian Guzza yesterday. We talked about tires and how maybe tires might be the most big change, most big advancing thing that's really, really causing you guys to learn more and to go back to kind of the starting point, because we've transitioned from one type of tire to a few different styles, wider tires, those sorts of things.
Yep. Bob Nichols has helped us a lot in the tire game. I think we've got something a little bit figured out there right now that we're doing, and it's working really well for us. Tire maintenance is a huge thing in the mini rod class, and Dad grinds the tires, so big ups to him for that. So he takes on that workload, but yeah, we're just doing really good right now. We hope we can keep it up.
Absolutely. So let's talk to the folks a little bit about who you are. Obviously, Shelbyville, Indiana is to the east of Indianapolis a little ways. But what else is going on there? You guys have a farming operation. You're a student. Fill us in.
Yep. So I'm a student at Purdue University right now. I'll be a junior there next fall. And then at home, we're farming corn and soybeans. There's guys back home keeping that going right now while we're up here pulling. And we have kind of an engine deal going on. We build engines for Les Corporal, and then we also do Jim Corey's work. He's running the PPL circuit, but we kind of have that going on. Roger Williams is a big help. He helps us out a lot in the engine department, but he stays home, and Josh does a lot there too. So there's just a lot of things going on, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it seems like, I'm assuming you're studying ag business, is that correct?
I study ag systems management.
Okay, so that's even better there. But I think I think a lot of times, and I don't want this to ever be a slight to anybody, but I'm proud of you for going to school, because too often it seems like the next generational farmer can just settle in and just follow right in line and not worry about education or progressing in your knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I think as you continue to grow, what you're doing at Purdue will be incredibly valuable to your family's farm. And I think sometimes it's easy to just make these decisions and just, not do so and just kind of settle into the family business. And I think it's awesome you're doing that. So from me to you, I'm proud of you, man. I think that's
Thank
great.
you.
Now, let's talk about what we're doing from here on. Obviously, you've put yourself in the hunt for the points lead thus far. That can't change anything. You got to still continue to stick to your plan. But, as you head down this sort of dog days of summer plan, what do we got to do? Routine maintenance and stay on top of all the little things, right? Yep.
Just got to make sure you get every little detail. I mean, it takes a lot. It seems like those things shake everything loose every time down the track. You got to check every bolt, nut. We've been trying to keep our clutch maintenance up this year. Just make sure they're together, because I mean that's the one thing that could bite us is something mechanically going wrong. So that's what we want to prevent.
Well, I have watched you grow up. I mean, I have recollections and memories of you being a tiny little baby in a stroller to where you are now, and I've watched you sit trackside. It's pretty neat, watch you transition to a two-wheel drive truck, watch your brother now in a two-wheel drive truck, and then watch you drive a Mini. All those years, man, sitting trackside, it's got to be a pretty awesome feeling to know now that this is your sport. You are a future star. You are one of the stars of this sport, and people are watching you, and little boys and little kids are dreaming about being who you are now.
Well, that was always my dream as a kid, was to be successful pulling, and I feel like I'm on my way to doing that, but I don't know if I'm quite star status yet. But from going and pulling with little toys and my brother in my room, having our own tractor pull set up with our toys, to doing the real thing is pretty awesome.
Is there a plan in your future, obviously, to step up and run something other than a Mini? I mean, you've been in the two-wheel drive side, but it seems almost like this Mini is just more your speed.
Yeah, I wasn't as successful in the two-wheel drive as I would have liked to be. I would kind of like to drive the T-Bucket one more time just to prove myself that I could still do it.
Yeah.
But that's a completely different ball game. I think the experience that I've gained driving a two-wheeler has helped me in a mini rod, and I think every pass down the track I learn something new that helps me down the road. I would like to drive the Unlimited, but I don't want to take Dad's seat away, but I would like to make one pass, and I think that'd be pretty cool. But I think mini rod's right at home for me.
Can Dad fit in the Mini frame?
He can, but it's not comfortable.
Well, I wondered if we could, because I'd just say just go to like a hook where you guys could swap seats and let Dad have your ride. But if he's got to stick his head forward and not be able to truly sit in there in the straps, it might not work.
I would like him to drive it, but he's not about it.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've never had a desire to drive a pulling vehicle. I've traveled to so many events, and my brother, he would dream about being a puller and has that desire, and that just does not sit in me. I've never had that, but I don't think I'd ever drive a Mini, even if somebody said, "Here, you just take the wheel and go." Like I'm a little terrified of them.
Oh, that's the only way you can learn is get in the seat. So,
yeah. But
yeah, they're definitely a different animal.
Well, they humble you. I mean, I think that's the reality, and I would say like too often, and even every show. I mean, every show, a really seasoned, really good driver can still take a wild ride. It just happens.
Yeah.
And that's the part I think that the enormity of that task sort of intimidates me and intimidates a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Now, as you dig in here and we start talking about 2024 and the run for the remainder of the season, what are some of the events you're looking forward to the most to going to, knowing full well that you guys are running really well?
I'm looking forward to going back to Chapel Hill. That was where I had my first win at. We didn't do so well there last year, so I'd like to be able to improve on that. But I just want to be consistent. My main goal is to win the points championship. That's what I'm focused on. So as long as we can get down the track, make A to B laps, and finish somewhere close to the top, I'll be happy.
Yeah, well, I think you're on the right approach. It seems like consistency has been there. And, you can win championships even with one of those duds every now and again, but it's like I told Jeff Hodem the other night. Second place is all season long. We'll win a points championship. And he smiled at me. Unfortunately today, obviously, he didn't keep that streak alive, but he was off to a whole hot streak of twos.
Yeah.
Folks, if you're just tuning in, you're just catching up with us here. I'm sitting with Grant Theal. He is the winner of today, and over the weekend, he and Jeff Hurt tied. His entry and the Lil Bear entry of Jeff Hurt both had a total of 8, a first and a 7th place finish, and Grant won by 8 feet in the tiebreaker. So Grant is here with me. It is starting to rain a little bit harder outside. We're getting some thunder and getting a little bit of lightning here in between the sessions, but it's Tomah, and I have seen so many magical things happen even when Mother Nature was pushing the odds against us. It seems like we've been able to go pulling. I honestly didn't arrive here on Wednesday thinking we'd pull 3 full sessions.
I didn't either. I was surprised we were even pulling this morning, to be honest.
So, my hope is that Mother Nature kind of pushes off here. Tomah works their magic. Track crew gets to work. And maybe a little bit later this evening, we come to work with 6 classes of competition. Before I let you depart, before you go, obviously, I want to talk to you a little bit about how folks can follow you. You guys do a phenomenal job on social media. You work pretty hard at catching people and growing your team's footprint, and you guys have started to attract more and more following, which is important.
Yep. So we're Wicked Pulling Team on all social media, Instagram, Facebook. So you can see what we're doing there, where we're pulling at, what's going on at home. So if you need to stay up to date on what we're doing, that's where you can find us.
Yeah, well, we love your family. Obviously, that's an awesome dynamic. Each of you have your own ride, and you and Mom battle each other in the mini class. And Brother, of course, is kind of cutting his teeth in the two-wheel drive side. And then Dad and all of his seasons of this and the game is now running very tough in the Unlimited and just finished really well at Hutch. So I'm assuming there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm for what might happen with Full-Blown Wicked.
Yeah, I think we're closer now on the setup. I was really happy with the pass I made at Hutch. There's a little bit of tweaks we can make. I really wanted to run here just to, I guess, see where we were at on a power track. But hopefully we can run tonight. If not, we'll be at Chapel Hill. So.
Yep. Yeah, well, folks, like I said, stay tuned. We're going to keep you up to date with what's going on, what the weather forecast looks like, and whether or not we are going to be able to have our competition tonight. We do want to encourage you to go to Full Pull Picks, and all sorts of fun happening right now with real money gaming, and you can have the opportunity to love this sport even more so by picking 2 of your favorites from each of the classes. Put your wager down, and hopefully you might win a little bit here if we are able to get session number 5 complete. So thank you, pal, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it very much. I think there's a video that might run here after us, a little bit of highlight of our friends here at Tomah this weekend and the awesome competition our folks here at Full Pull have put together for you to enjoy. And like I said, stay tuned for updates on what the weather's doing here in Tomah. Are you ready to go?
I am ready to go. I'm a little damp.
You
I'm
are.
a little damp. It's been one of them days.
Yeah, so folks, if you're just kind of catching us, it's raining outside. It wouldn't be Toma without a little bit of moisture. We just kind of naturally seem to get that here every year, but we are hopeful and optimistic that there might be a window of opportunity for us to get a tractor pull in here this evening. I'm not real certain exactly how that's going to work just yet, but the track is covered. That is a brand new effort and a brand new endeavor from the folks right here in Toma. They ordered 2 500-foot long by 60-foot wide tarps, and that has been a godsend, I would say, already.
Absolutely. It was well worth the investment. When you think about what they all have into this and the amount of effort that all these groups put in, the sponsors that are lined up out front to make sure that we get a functional competition track. I think it was well worth their investment on it. And then when you think about when they remove it, the only thing we deal with is a little bit of pit area issues. So with an hour and a half before the slated show time, there's plenty of time to make the surface work. It just depends on some of the other accoutrements of guys coming off of trucks through the pit area and get them around. Toma has a very nice, the way that the track lays out, it's elevated, and then the hot pit area and the load-in area has got a little bit of a downslope, so water dissipates down that way, but it's all asphalt millings. So it's a dry pit area. They have drainage down there, not dry.
Damp.
Yeah, it's damp.
It's
but
not saturated and soaked. You can actually pull your vehicle through there without it getting stuck.
Yeah, it's not mud. It's not a mud lineup zone. It's a nice hot pit staging area. The hitch pad is a concrete hitch pad. It comes up just as you're about to go up to the sled, and they crest you over the top. So I feel like the competition surface is salvageable.
Yes, sir.
The hardest part is just getting guys back to that area, coming off their trucks. Guys are buttoned up a little bit for the weather, so getting them off their trucks and over to that zone. The guys who are doing a little bit of tow vehicles and things like that are doing Omen's work. I mean, they're staying dry. They're not throwing their own hook. I mean, you get out, you throw your hook. So I'm a little bit soaked up. We just put my tractor away from earlier today and situated the semi-truck in such a way so I can make that haul back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here later tonight.
Well, obviously, you get to kind of wear multiple hats here because you've got to compete here as well, and obviously
it's
be on the
exciting.
Broadcast side of the deal, but then also get to go put your fire suit on and go try to take some skulls in the Super Farm class.
I do apologize. I've got an odor going with a little bit of sweat, but yeah, it was a great morning. As you guys watched at home, the session this morning worked out fine. There was a little rain that tempered it there at the end, but the Super Farm class, which I hooked in, was very competitive. I thought the groupings and the distances were very tight, and it goes to show you that class is always competitive.
It is.
It was nice. Hindsight's 20/20. What my butt said, what my telemetry and my data logger said, and what my foot sort of slipped over and hung a brake. I don't know why I did any of that, but it was my first hook of the season here. But way to do it on a big stage, right?
Well, you get to learn, and the reality of it is we talk about this all the time. I mean, there's a podcast with the name of it now, but there's not an opportunity to practice. You really just have to go and put your laps in, and sometimes you do that in front of 20,000 people, and sometimes you do that in front of 500 people. It just really depends.
So it's been a big day. I think that with the class lineups they have for tonight, there's a chance, but it's a matter of getting them to the track. There's a dinner break going on right now. The sponsors are out there courting some people. I mean, the crowd is limited right now, but some people have bared down. But the Hot Shot Secrets and as well as the Mac trailer display and stuff like that, we're still here. And then Terramax, which is new to the sport. We met with Doug earlier today, and maybe it was last night because today I was busy. This is where my mind goes faster than my lips. But we met with him yesterday. It was great to have him be part of it, the CEO over there, and the interesting things they're doing on seed development and health.
Yeah, so new sponsors are really engaging, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, when you look through our list as an announcer, I'm given a book of prospective customers, or I guess people that we need to highlight. And you look through and you welcome Beck's, and you welcome Wix Filters, and you welcome Cowtails back. They were a sponsor for a while, and they've since returned. And obviously,
I got to interject.
And
did you get the cinnamon bun cowtail yet, or did Jason Schultz literally bogart that whole box?
I did eat one.
He let you have one.
The lady handed me a cup.
I can't even get one.
When I interviewed her, and it had a strawberry smoothie, and it had a cinnamon bun, and it had a caramel brownie and something else.
So the what I find interesting is she said that because of its new release in that cinnamon bun, it's starting to catch up. Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness,
Cowtail's right on the spot there.
My wish is his command. Thank you very much. But yeah, the noose flavor, the honey bun.
Yeah.
Focus. So we'll bring it back here, the Cowtails honey bun. But yeah, I thought that was interesting as well. And in the drivers' meeting, they made note that the quantity of sponsorship executives that were here, as well as just representative booths, was more than they've had in multiple years.
Yes,
if I remember, it was like 13 or so, 11 or 13. I can't remember the exact number because I was doing distances earlier, so numbers are just all stuck up here.
No, but it's definitely different. Our book is much more full, and the opportunities. I mean, I got to interview many of them trackside this weekend, which has been very nice, and getting to put a name and a face, and actually personally thank them, because this is a sport I love, this is a sport you love, and honestly, as a puller gets out there and competes, I want you guys to make more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my goal.
Growth is a portion of it. We saw press releases earlier this year that NTPA's points fund and end of year points fund grew by well over $100,000 this season alone.
Yeah.
And part of this live stream and part of these podcasts are helping extend that growth. And,
yes, sir.
Advance it, like raise the speed with which we can grow this. And I'm excited about that.
So we should have, weather permitting, we have 6 classes, I believe, to run this evening with us. We have not seen Unlimited yet. We have not seen Super Farm yet, or Super Semi yet.
Correct.
Because we canceled those 2 last night. We have not seen Pro Stock yet. So those 3 classes have not touched the surface. We have run 4-wheel drive trucks. We have run, I believe, Limited Pro, which is one of the others.
Yes.
And then Light Super Stock also. So we have run 3 of the 6 that we have scheduled. We have not, like I said, run Pro Stock or Super Semi or Unlimited. So all those folks that towed from all over the country to get here and haven't hooked yet, we hope for them that they get a chance to play tonight. But as you and I sit here, we can hear the rain hitting the ceiling, and obviously you've been out there. You just came in on an absolutely soaked jacket as they towed you out of the mud.
I switched to swimming trunks and an old pair of tennis shoes, and I tried the raincoat, but the raincoat's saturated. I hung it up over there on the wall. Yeah. But stick with us. We've got things, later tonight. You can check back in, check on your social media. If it's going to happen, we'll have it here for you. You can join us.
Official text message from Greg Randall. Tonight, session 5, Toma. The event is still planning to read that.
So the official text message, tonight's Session 5 in Toma, Wisconsin event is still planning to happen. We may go into a slight weather delay. I've added slight. But the weather forecasters feel the rain will be out of our area in an hour. So when you look at, we're at 5:40, the event's slated for 7, plausibly just shy of that. But it's no different than you've started events at 8 p.m. for a 7 p.m. slated start time.
Yep.
And that could have been not due to weather. But
we've started
so the
at
chance
10
is
o'clock
there.
here before, 9:30 and
That's
10
what I
o'clock
thought.
here.
I didn't recall.
We pulled really late one year.
Sometimes I just want to open up that knowledge, and I knew you had in there more than my
about
memory
4
is,
o'clock
but
in
yeah.
the morning. We stopped one year, 4:30. That would have been one of my very first years up here to Toma. So
how many years ago? Let's just hit that.
So my very first ever trip here to Toma was in 2011, and I think my very first year on a microphone was 2015. I came up and I actually just hosted my road show, and after I hosted my road show, they asked me to audition with the Saturday night 2-wheel drive truck class. So I got to do that, and then I was back here full time, I believe, in 16. So I think this is with minus the COVID year. I've been here every year since 15.
And I think that's an important part of the Full Pool Live broadcast team, from our production staff to our camera guys to you as well.
Yep.
The wealth of knowledge that you all bring to the table is huge.
Sure.
Like the amount of knowledge and the amount of you guys you can remember. I go to stat sheets and notes. You guys are like, I remember that, and this is the finishing order.
Well, I was blessed because the first couple of years I was here, I got to work with Kenny Mack.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Jason, being a Wisconsinite, he can tell you more and more and more about Kenny Mack. But the tower that I get to stand in front of and do interviews in front of every year is named after him. And he's a guy who I did not ever meet until I came here to announce. And you think about announcers that carry such notoriety. He's one that was a huge guy in the Region 3, Region 5 area, and then up here, and did so much Grand National work, sat on the WPI board, or the NTPA board, and was so involved with the sport, and set kind of a tone for guys like myself and Jason and people who announce, like yourself, just getting in going here.
Yeah, I follow them all, you all, but it's sometimes I just see the name with faces, right? And
Sure.
it's the drivers, and I think that's something we'll work on diving into and growing more later this season, is faces with drivers, not just, you don't just recognize the corn burner.
Yep.
You're going to recognize the guy in the seat. So if you tune into us, the preview of the poll time, this show, the countdown to poll time.
Yep.
So that's where I get tongue
Well, that was
twisted.
the whole reason Miles Beyond 300 existed, was to try to make stars of the sport household names for people that didn't know them. And the cool thing is Jason Schultz and yourself and people with full pull are kind of taking that ball and elevating it to an even higher level than I could have ever dreamed. And now we get an opportunity to have an even larger platform to do exactly what I dreamed about.
Absolutely. I think it just elevates the sport. We all work together, toe the rope the same direction, and it's that rising tides raise all ships.
Yep, I
right.
agree.
When you look at how Full Pull Live is produced and it's brought into our homes now, and purse money and sponsorships, we tie all this together from all of us on the track or off the track.
Sure.
I think we can do great things here coming in the future. I'm excited for it.
We just have to have a similar vision, and if we all truly love this sport, and our goal is to love the sport the way that we all currently do, then I think we're all going to be really, really ecstatic of where things are in a couple of years.
Absolutely. Well, I don't have anything else. What do you guys at home? If you guys have something you're interested in, I think we're about to sign off for our preview show.
Yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be updating you on what's happening with the weather, but hopefully within the next hour and a half, that tarp comes off and we start putting chalk lines down.
But you can also still get your Full Pull picks in.
Yep, go put them in. Go pick your two and
real money in, real money out.
Yep, I'm going to go.
$70 on light mods.
Oh man, there's Schultz bragging about his winnings.
Well, I lost all them. I started with $70. I'm at $77. I made $7 today.
That's good.
Gotcha. And there's a bonus program that will add to your funds if you set up your account and add funds. You start your account with funds. There's a small premium bonus that they'll add to.
I already lost my premium bonus.
Gotcha. Was it weather related, or your choices just didn't pan out? What were your thoughts?
I did two $10 bets in the mini rod class.
Yeah.
And if I had only done one, I probably still wouldn't have won. But the very first night, Thursday night, I had Adam Bauer.
As your pick.
And I also had Nathan Hoffman.
Yes.
And Nathan was sort of my sentimental local guy who just seems to show up at Toma and win. And then I also had the Bobcat Jr. and Adam Kester in another. And had I had Bauer and had I had the Bobcat Jr., I'd have won that night. But obviously I didn't do a very good job of picking all of them as I needed to. And so my bonus is gone.
It's gone. No bonus here. But you can log on, you can set up your app, learn how to play, and then jump into it. It's fairly simple. It's pick your top two finishers, your greatest distance is sort of how it is, and it's that legal gaming.
Yep.
Brought to truck and tractor pulling for the first time. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to play in it. Hard part is with these multi-day shows that we're having morning and nights, I don't take the time.
Yep.
I realize afterwards, like, oh, that class already went. I had two good choices.
I've been trying to watch the track and field Olympic trials while this is going on as well, so it's been
a whirlwind.
I'm a bit of a track rat, so trying to watch track and field while also watching tractor pulling has been keeping me going crazy.
But that's what Toma brings. I mean, that's why I participate here. Toma is one of those marquee events you want to be a part of.
Look me up in Bowling Green and watch me watch the Olympics in the middle of the pool too, because I'll be watching. I can promise you.
From Recreation Park in Toma, Wisconsin,
we're ready to
tune in. Look for us here around 7 p.m. We'll have an update on our social media channels and things like that. Maybe a slight delay, as Greg Randall had said, and we'll catch up to you then.
I'm going to enjoy a cowtail.
Cowtail to you. This will be dinner.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.